comes to the door with a samurai sword.
He's got a samurai sword in his hand. And
like he just jumped out of a fucking Pokemon commercial.
And Mangler looks at him and he goes, here's the deal. You better put that samurai sword down or I'm going to shove it up your ass. And then he stands there for a couple seconds and then all of a sudden he throws it on the couch.
I took that motherfucker and I put it behind the couch.
So then he goes, he's like, well, we got to go, blah, blah, blah. So we leave.
No, we went in the house.
No, that was the second time.
Oh.
Second time was when we showed up, you went into his house. Well, to end the first time, Lance goes out. He grabs this yard light in the yard. Of course, a yard light would be in a yard.
They're all hooked together.
And it all hooked together.
I thought it was one little light.
So he grabs this thing and he rips it out of the ground, which means he broke all the lights in the yard.
The whole front of the house.
And he takes it and he launches it at the front door. And then he gets into this guy's truck and we get ready to drive away. And Jeeves comes to the front door, opens the door. He's standing there in his boxers with his samurai sword, and he looks down and he sees this light. And then he sees the rest of the yard. And then he just kind of has this look on his face. So then he calls me later as we're going into a bar. And I said,
No.
I said, Jeeves, so what are you doing, buddy? And he goes, I'm flabbergasted. He goes, I can't believe that he would do that.
But by the way, this guy is 6 foot, 8.
He's 6'8". The guy's like 300 pounds. The guy could have just
No, he couldn't. Don't fucking say
I
that,
know.
you stupid motherfucker.
But
I'll come over there and kick you right out of your shoes.
So he's telling me he's flabbergasted. And I said, well, you have two options at this point. It's midnight. You can either call the cops or go to bed. He calls me back 30 minutes later, and I said,
riding in a truck with three men sitting in a cab. Michael Nisley.
We were riding in a truck, and the cops pulled the truck over because the guy that had the truck had a broken taillight.
He was drunk.
Me and Mangler immediately look at each other thinking, fuck, Jeeves called the cops.
Thought I was going to jail with him.
So Jeeves calls me on the phone while we're sitting there because I figured he's going to be like, well, I called the cops, ha, 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 whatever the fuck. I picked the phone up and I said, Jeeves? And I put him on speaker. And Mangler's sitting there and he goes, I've been sitting here for 30 minutes and I'm still flabbergasted. And I said, so did you call the cops yet? And he goes, no, I don't think I'll be doing that. Because he's worried about Lance coming back to his house.
Our driver is now at the back of the truck doing a field sobriety test.
I thought he was drunk.
And him and I are sitting elbow to elbow in the front of a fucking F-150 old-fashioned 1984 car.
So, okay, we get back in the car. We've gotten rid of Jeeves. Okay, then that week.
It was the weekend next.
It was the weekend next, but that week, at the end of that week, me and my buddy Rob go over to Jeeves' house because I've told Rob about, we got done at the gym, and while we're at the gym, I'm telling him all the stuff that Mangler had done, and he's like, well, we need to go check on Jeeves to see what's going on. So we go over there, and Rob's like, so when did you call the cops? And he goes, I called them on Friday. And Rob's like, when did this happen? And he goes, the Saturday before. And he's like, so you called the cops a week later? And he goes, what did the cops tell you? And they go, you probably should have called us the night that it happened. Well, then Jeeves was cast in this thing called Horrorwood, which was like, I don't know, Dawn, if you know what Horrorwood is, but it's like a haunted house thing.
I know what both of them said.
It was when the mall looked like it was out of business.
Oh,
And what's funny, and Cluck's gonna like this because it's a clown thing, but Jeeves got cast as a guy who, at the end of Horrorwood, he's a clown that chases you out of Horrorwood with a chainsaw. That's how it ends. And so Rob's like, oh, you got cast. What'd you get cast as? And Jeeves goes, a clown. And Rob goes, damn, typecasting. And so then I told Mangler that night, I said, hey, we talked to Jeeves. And he goes, What the fuck is that piece of shit? You know, all the usual stuff Lance would say. And I said, well, he got cast as a clown at Horrorwood. And he goes, let me tell you something. I'm going to go out to Horrorwood, and he chases me with that chainsaw. I'm going to turn around, I'm going to kick him in the face. So I told Jeeves about this. So Jeeves...
I really thought I was going to go to Horrorwood.
So Jeeves gets Lance banned from Horrorwood. Now, he's never going to go near Horrorwood. So they're worried about this guy with this tall hair who's going to show up and beat up the clown with the chainsaw at the end of the fucking thing. So then the next week...
I was like a Wild West Wanted poster.
You were at a Wild West
Sitting
Wanted
at the
poster.
Horrorwood, people thought I was a character on the wall. But you walk in, and I was laminated, though.
You were laminated?
Don't let this motherfucker in.
Don't let this guy in. Had a picture.
He'll make this Horrorwood a real Horrorwood. He's going to take that chainsaw, put a blade on that motherfucker, and really chop this big-ass motherfucker up.
So
Where's he at? Where's he live now?
He still lives same spot.
I'm going over.
So
here I come,
so the
Jeeves.
next
Let me ask Jeeves if I can come over. I don't give a fuck what he says. I'm going. Jiggy, you're going with me.
I'll go with you.
You got to take one camera, and we're going to pretend like it's some sort of fucking fetish from Pornhub.
Okay.
You've got the hoodie.
I've got the hoodie. It'll work. So the next week...
Plausible deniability.
So the next week, we're sitting in here just bullshitting, hanging out. And Lance is like, let's go over there. And I go, what do you mean we're going to go over there? And he goes, let's go the fuck to Jeeves' house. So me, Mangler, and this chick who we referred to as the Hood Rat jump in a car with this guy named Mike Nisley, and we go over to Jeeves' house. And we knock at the door. And
not that he was not antagonizing every bit of it. I would not say that he tried to pull.
I want nothing to do with
would not
Rob.
say that he ever once tried to pull my arm and say, hey, this is a bad decision. He not once tried to talk sense into my head.
So we go to this guy's house.
He encouraged my insanity.
We knock on the door. Jeeves comes to the door. Now, we just... Oh, I don't want to do that. What is that? What is going on there? Okay, so
I like the music.
Yes.
To set the theme for the song.
So Jeeves...
Come on, tell the story.
Jeeves goes ahead and lets us in. I don't know why he would let us in, but he lets us in. So we go into the house, and Lance pushes past him. He's like, you got anything to fucking drink? Shoves past him. We go sit down in this guy's house. Now, the Hood Rat has decided that Jeeves is going to come out with us to go partying, I guess.
How's Renee doing anyways?
So, that's right, out to anchor in. So, she tells Jeeves to go put some jeans on. We're going to go. So, he comes out there, and he's got these jeans, and he's putting them on. And Lance goes, you ain't going anywhere with us. Take those fucking pants off. So he takes the jeans down. And then Jennifer turns around, and she goes, what are you fucking doing? You're going out with us. So he pulls them back up. So at some point, he's just standing there, putting them up, pulling them down, because they're both yelling at him to take them off or put them on. Take them off, put them on.
Standing there like a big giant oaf.
He's standing like a big fucking retard.
Just picking him up, pulling him down like he was fucking having some sort of seizure with his goddamn pants.
He's picking him up, putting him down, picking him up, putting him down.
At one point, I thought I was having fucking amnesia.
So then at one point...
I was having Alzheimer's real fast. Every story was replayed.
Jeeves comes in there after... I guess he's finally decided to put these jeans on for good. So he comes in there.
He buckled them by that point.
He buckles them. And Lance looks at him and he goes, where the fuck do you think you're going, asshole? And he's like, I thought I was going out with you guys. And then at that point, Lance stands up and he goes, I gotta piss on something. Where's your bathroom? And he goes, down the hallway. Now at this point, I would have thrown him out of the house. I would have called the cops. I'd have done something. So Lance goes to use the bathroom. Well, then he goes into his kitchen and he finds some honey. And he just sprays it all over his kitchen.
Honey in a bottle. I found it in the freezer. I had to squeeze the motherfucker really hard because it was frozen.
Fucking honey in the freezer.
I don't know. He was trying to hide it, I think. Because originally I asked if he had anything to eat.
Yeah.
And I went and looked in his fridge, and
Yeah.
I didn't find anything appetizing.
There was nothing in there. So he grabs this honey.
Which is awkward, because I was really looking for food.
Well, and my thing was, he didn't have any food, but he had honey?
Him and his goddamn dog. Him and his damn dog. That's why that dog was so scared of me.
So the dog, he's got this dog that looks unkept. I felt so sorry for this dog.
I should have put it down.
The dog walks in there and starts sniffing us, and I think maybe
by the way, this is right after I walked out of his kitchen, spilling the honey all over the stove and the floor and the walls.
You can clearly see he was doing this.
Oh yeah, he was watching me.
He was watching him
I was watching. Time. I was making eye contact with him while I was spilling the honey. I was doing this. I was walking around the house making eye contact with him while I was pouring honey all over his whole house.
So
it was a big bottle of honey.
This poor dog comes over and starts sniffing us.
The dog didn't try to lick the honey.
I think the dog was trying to.
So he has done something with that dog and the honey.
There. And so Lance looks at the dog, and then he looks at Jeeves, and he goes, "You know something?" And you deliver the line better than me.
No, the dog kept licking me. It was coming up to my shoe and shit, and I didn't like the dog too much. I didn't like the dog at all. And for some and because I think at that point in my life I was drinking a little bit. I had a Gatorade bottle. I had a Gatorade bottle because I wanted to make sure I hydrated and got my electrolytes. So, because this guy is so exhausting that he dehydrates you. So, as we're sitting there and this dog keeps coming up here, licking me and licking me and licking me, before I stabbed it with my goddamn knife, I decided I'd do the responsible thing. And I told Jeeves, get the fucking dog away from me, or I'm going to kill it. With a Gatorade bottle to the head and a cigarette to the eye. And he looked at me in such horror, no pun intended to the place he worked. But he looked at me with such horror in his eyes. He melted as a man. Right, thinking about that dog dying right in front of him. With my... I think I was smoking a Black and Mild. That would have taken.
Yes, because he had a Black and Mild on the table.
Yeah, he did, and I took it.
And you said, "Hey,
I put a penny down."
And you took the Black and Mild, and you start smoking it, and then you go, "All you got is Black and Mild." So
I thought it was a blunt.
And so
that time I was smoking too.
So Jeeves, we get done with all
this. The irresponsible part of my life.
So he gets up and he takes these. Jeeves has these pennies on this coffee table, and he grabs them and he throws them at Jeeves, and he goes, "That's all you're worth."
It was 3 pennies.
And then we walk out of his house, and we get in the car and we're driving away, and it's so funny because he comes out of character for like 5 seconds. He goes, "I can't believe we didn't get shot."
No, you missed the part where I walked out of the house and said stall.
Yes.
And there was a yellow Mustang or something.
There was, okay.
With the window down.
Here's the deal. I'm talking to Jeeves, and I'm asking him I'm just making small talk with him.
Bullshitting like you normally does.
His roommate was home, or wasn't home or something, but his roommate's car was in the driveway. Had all the windows down. And Mangler walks over and just takes a piss in this guy's front seat through his window.
Sounds about right.
And
the only real heel.
He comes back around the corner, and Jeeves is like, "Where did he go?" And I said, "He's just using the bathroom." And he goes, "Where did he use the bathroom?" And I said, "Who knows?" And we got in the car, we drive away.
Again, didn't call the cops.
Nobody called the cops.
Pussy.
And so we tell that story all the time.
What a pussy. Where's he at? He lives in Hutch too? Him and Adam Pena are probably hanging out.
No, they definitely are not hanging out.
Oh, they're probably hanging out at the Rusty Needle. Oh, wait, Mike Clares doesn't even own the place anymore.
Doesn't own it.
Oh, because he's a money fraud fucking piece of shit.
He's Oklahoma Mike.
Yeah, Oklahoma Mike, because he had to move out of Kansas because he was fucking...
You know what's funny?
No, he was laundering and running so much money through that motherfucker.
And coke? No. I don't know.
No, he wasn't dealing it. He wasn't dealing it. He was only facilitating it.
You know who else lives in Oklahoma now? Your buddy, Mitch Bass.
Fat Mitch Bass.
I don't know if he's fat.
I hope he doesn't live on the border. He lives on 3 sides.
So.
Mitch Bass. He lives, this
God. He just got it. Cluck just got the punchline. I hope he doesn't live on the border. He lives on 3 sides. And the next word's out of Cluck's mouth is, oh, God.
So, Mitch Bass, I was mad that he didn't work at Burger King that night. I was really drunk. I was hungover almost. I wanted a burger. Went to the drive-thru. He wasn't there.
He wasn't there. And then you yelled for Burgess because Burgess had worked there.
I forgot about that.
You yelled
He
for
can't
Burgess.
He can't get a job at McDonald's now or
And-
at Burger
and-
King because he's a felon for fucking beating his wife.
You yelled for Burgess, and they were like, he's not working tonight.
Was
And then
Bur-
we pulled around the side, and Lance is like, roll down the window. So the hood rat rolls down the window, and he goes, so you guys know Burgess Martin, that fucking wife beater? Realistically, the cops
I wish.
should have been called several times.
That's why I like
That
partying.
evening.
That's why I like partying in Hutch.
What is so funny?
As long
is-
as they don't look up my last name, I'm good.
That's right.
Hey, listen though, Burgess, Adam,
Burgess. Adam.
who else?
Mitch.
No, he's too fat to fucking carry himself this far without having a fucking heart attack.
Billy Simmons.
Unless he wants to put fucking what's his name off of TNA. If he wants to put him on the railroad tracks for 3 fucking hours in a fucking minivan.
Oh, Abyss.
Abyss. Yeah, let's go ahead and have Lance not pick Abyss up in the limo that he already has sitting in Wichita, ready to go, that already drove me to Hoisington. Let's go ahead and just let fucking A-Train, or whatever his fucking name is, Abyss.
Mitch Bass.
Let's let bitch fat mass.
A-Train.
Let's let bitch. let's
Call him
hey,
A-Train.
let's let bitch mass go pick up fucking Abyss from the goddamn airport in his fucking Tahoe. Had no air conditioning. Middle of July. Drive him from Wichita to Hoisington. And then they get delayed 3 hours because of fucking train wreck. Literally, not figuratively talking about the car ride. Talking about something that literally happened on the railroad tracks, causing the car ride to last 3 hours fucking longer. In no air conditioning, and you've got a 455-pound piece of shit driving you, and the radio didn't work. And you're sitting in the middle of fucking Midwestern Kansas.
What a joy that is.
I bet it, I bet Mitch Bass was wearing the mask.
Billy's mask?
No, well, was he in the car too?
I don't
That's probably why he probably ran out of gas. Those 2 fat fucks couldn't sit in a goddamn Suburban without fucking fucking up the suspension.
There was
I
also-
hate them. Hey, listen, let me
You
tell you,
hate them.
Mitch Bass. Why don't you tag team with Billy Simmons? You can put a hood on too, you fat piece of shit.
Jesus
You
Christ.
wouldn't you wouldn't wrestle any slower.
So earlier today, Cluck was given permission to shoot on anybody. You've pretty much done all of that.
I did it all.
I didn't have to do shit. I just had to be here to listen to the Mango rant about a whole lot of shit. I was here for that. I witnessed it.
Hey, you know what? Let's call out Flex Reed.
Hold on. I just want you to know, Tommy, I love you. Mike Ortega, I still love you.
Tommy, you don't love Tommy Snow unless
Oh,
we.
oh,
yeah, you don't. No, shut up.
Mangler.
You don't. Listen, I'm not the mango. You can't talk about Tommy Snow unless you're handicap accessible. And this house has no fucking ramp.
Oh,
Hey,
Tommy Snow, sorry, you're left
The
on the
man-
curb, bitch.
the Mangler still likes Mike Ortega too. I'm just the one that doesn't like Mike Ortega. And actually,
Why are you bringing this up again?
I
Mike
like-
Ortega's already on the way.
He's gonna get pumped out like a DOG,
Oh my
as
God.
they say. Cause I got my PhD, baby, right here. Cause I'm one of those.
Let's talk about Flex
Guys.
though. Let's talk about Flex.
Flex Reed and you as a tag team taking the tag belts.
I think you're friends with Flex.
That's what should happen.
Tell me about Flex.
what do you want to know about Flex?
All of it.
How many times he wrestled the last year?
World Wrestling Express is an amazing place. They do body slams on cancer, like, March 5th.
March 5th.
Yes.
With Hernandez.
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
I'll be there.
Cool.
And that other guy, the ROH guy.
The beer guy?
No, the
You never got into that story.
the sexiest man. What's his name? Curtis Sliwa or something. I don't know what his name
You
is.
ask me like I know these people, like I hit my head too many times.
I don't know.
So you never got into the story about Kenny Jones and
Beer City Bruiser.
the Beer City Fat Fuck.
Okay, apparently what happened?